Hey, good afternoon, friends. Today is Sunday, September the 8th, 2024, and the time now is 2:42 p.m. So, last Friday, September the 6th, 2024. So, I was traveling from one part of my city to the outskirt of town. Basically, I was meeting a friend of mine. We usually meet on Fridays. Fridays, we meet, we go out, we eat, we go play pool, we go play bowling or whatsoever. And we basically reflect on the week experience or experiences. And that's it and call it a day. We do this like every Friday, it is our routine. However, I remember being on the train as I travel on the train. I had this image flashing in my very face or my very sight. Perhaps because I was thinking about the recent shooting in Georgia, the Apalachee High School shooting in Georgia, which resulted in the death of 4 people, 2 students and 2 teachers, and 9 people being injured. As I was on the train, I had the image flashing in front of me. So there was a dead body, perhaps not yet dead or was dying, maybe between the age of 5 and 7. The body laid in the pool of blood. And then on the other side, there was a gun right not far from the young girl, the little girl, perhaps about 7 feet away from the little girl, the little body. You have a little girl laying on the ground, face down, in a pool of blood, and then you have a semi-automatic rifle. And then there was a gentleman that came, a middle-aged gentleman. He rushed to the gun and grabbed the gun. And at that very moment, I kind of snapped out of what I was seeing or what I was experiencing. Perhaps because I was thinking, or I had been thinking about the shooting in Georgia, which I also lived in Georgia. Perhaps because of that, I was having some terrible, whatever, image just flashing in my face. Now, my friends, by now you probably have an idea of what I want to talk about. So, I want to talk briefly about the situation in Georgia, the Apalachee High School shooting. Now, it is obvious that perhaps as of now, many of you already know what happened. You know all the details, and you probably don't want to listen to or hear about this any longer. Now, what I want to talk about specifically and briefly is about some of the things that I'm noticing or that I have been noticing, whether we are talking about those which relate specifically to the shooting or the way people in the country, especially prominent people, are basically taking this. So I'm going to give a brief update or a brief comment, and then I will close with something which I might call an advice or the way I see what is happening in the United States. Now, I want to thank you for watching the Echoing Voice and for being a member of the Echoing Voice community. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to this channel and please share the link and share the video with your friends and families. Now you are watching the trends and headlines in U.S. society and domestic politics. This is episode 9. Once again, you are watching the series Trends and Headlines in U.S. Society and Domestic Politics. And this is episode 9. So last Wednesday, we basically experienced a shooting in Georgia. And in one high school, Apalachee High School, a 14-year-old by the name of Colt Gray took a semi-automatic rifle and shooting people in the school. Basically, once again, killing 4 people, 2 students and 2 teachers or staff members. Now, friends, as much as this is a terrible thing that has occurred, it also begs the question, what is happening in American society? Why is it that people in the United States can easily access guns and are going out there and just murdering one another? just murdering people. What are the authorities, or what is the government, whether we are talking about the national federal government or the various states and locality governments, doing to not only end or limit gun violence, but to also try to work the emotional psyche of the American people? Because what is happening is some psychological and emotional trauma, or emotional and psychological thing that is going on in the American society, in the various individuals and groups and so on. Now, in terms of the shooting, it was a bad thing. It was a tragedy. However, there are those who already going on the attack, who are basically stressing, promoting, propagating, and screaming Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. And the fact that the government, and in this case, there are prominent American politicians, and I know one such people, J.D. Vance, the running mate of Donald Trump for Vice President of the United States, basically had a speech in which he stressed that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden wants to take American guns, which it is a bad politics, as much as it makes Vance and Trump and others look good to their constituency or constituencies. It is bad in terms of trying to heal a nation. So, my friends, it is not about the Second Amendment. It is not about taking away American guns and so on. This is about how do you stabilize society? How do you make society peaceful? When you have senseless shootings and senseless killings happening throughout the United States, it is a problem. While this is happening, there are even those who are talking about civil wars. Look, you have so many guns being manufactured. There are more guns on America's streets than there are people in the United States. There are those who are out there basically just buying guns just to store guns, okay? There are those who are collectors of guns just to look good, to see their homes decorated with guns. There are those who are stockpiling munition. With stuff like this happening, and you have the anger in the American populace, talking about civil war or trying to ignite a civil war is a bad thing for America as a country, as a society, as a people, and so on. Now, in terms of the situation with Colt Gray and his school, the Apalachee High School, this is about, and should be, at least the discussion, how do Americans or the United States as an entity come about limiting gun violence? In doing so, it means that Americans will have to think twice and also consider how to balance holding onto your Second Amendment rights while at the same time limiting gun violence. Because as much as the Second Amendment rights is something to hold on to daily, one must also consider the fact that the situation in the United States, or at least in the 13 colonies, which led to Americans, as they were gaining independence, to pass a law that protect one's rights to own guns, to have guns, to buy guns. As much as there was a unique circumstance, or there were unique circumstances at that time during colonial American era, today the situation is not the same. The situation is not the same. The American government is not out there just doing what Britain did. In fact, people outside of the United States probably have more to worry about American guns ending up in their countries, which are leading to or help exacerbating the political tension that result in civil wars, or America as a country waging wars on them. But I do feel as if Americans might want to think about, okay, or discuss how do you balance holding on to your Second Amendment rights and also limiting gun violence. Now, in terms of the young kids, Colt Gray. I find it odd that even as of now, the media continues to refer to him as a suspect, which is strange. As of now, the kid is not a suspect. He is a killer. He is a murderer. He had killed people, 4 people, and also injuring 9 of them. I don't know whether it is media sensitivity or just plain bias, but I don't think it is sensible. I don't think it serves justice to refer to him as a suspect. The suspect days are over. He is a murderer. He should be referred to as such, especially when also considering the fact that the authorities are going to be persecuting him as an adult. And this is a sad reality for the kid and for the country. Now, in terms of the United States, it is said by one source that the shooting at Apalachee High School was the 45th shooting in the United States this year so far. And we have about 3 to 4 months to go to the end of the year. So who knows, perhaps we could be seeing a lot more. And even with that, there are those who still are going to come out and protecting guns. Because so far it seems that the guns in American consciousness have become human. The guns are being personified. The guns have taken the qualities or characteristics of humans. Hence, people are rushing to protect guns and support guns and promote guns while human beings are dying. Therefore, the question is, if guns are that important, should we then just let human beings die and continue to protect guns? Who knows? Hopefully, guns can run America once the humans are gone. But in terms of shooting, as much as the shooting at Apalachee High School is said to be the 45th in the country this year, it is said that the amount of shootings that have happened in the United States this year so far, with about 3 to 4 months to go, is in the hundreds. So in this case, in the United States, there is a gun epidemic in the United States. And with this, there are those who are still calling for more guns. It seems as if there is a narrative, or there are narratives in the United States, whether we are talking about freedom, justice, this and that, fight for this and that, liberating this and that. It seems as if in the United States, the narratives run the country. The narratives have become more powerful than reality. Once again, I'm going to repeat. It seems as if the narratives of the American consciousness, of American society, or of American exceptionalism have become more powerful than the human reality or realities in the United States. I don't know what you think, my friends. Perhaps you can tell me what you think, and I really want to hear what you think. I do believe that the young men and many other in the United States, they are victims as much as their victims are victims. Because beyond the senseless killing, beyond the proliferation of guns, there is reality that I believe of psychological trauma or emotional trauma that many in the United States are experiencing. Therefore, my question is, what is the federal government, the states and the local government, what are they doing to help Americans heal from their emotional and psychological experiences that are leading to mass shootings? So I'm going to pose the question once again. Is it fair? Is it honest? Is it logical that the media continues to refer to Colt Gray as a suspect? The jury is out. They saw him. He took guns to school and he shot people. And as of now, the authorities are saying that they are going to charge him as an adult. Is it fair? Is it honest? Is it truthful that the media should refer to him as of now as a suspect? And should the media refer to him as a suspect or as a murderer or even as the shooter? Yes, I know he is a minor or a young teenager, but he committed murder, killing 4 people and wounding 9 people. And the authorities are going to be charging him as an adult. I just want to hear what you think, and please tell me what you think, my friends. Now, in terms of his family, it is said that Colt Gray's family is basically not in a stable situation. The family hasn't been stable. From Fox News investigation, Gray is a kid that is weird and his family is weird. And they're saying that he is in an abusive family. It is also being said that his attendance hasn't been good. So perhaps something is going on in the family. Now, the father of Colt Gray is being charged because he actually gave his son such rifle, semi-automatic rifle. But I find that to be very suspicious because what he did by giving his son gun, it seemed to be a very popular practice in the United States. It seems as if many kids outside of the inner cities, in suburbia, and in the far local reach of American society, in the countryside, whether they are hunting or not, they do have access to guns. Not only their parents' guns, but their parents are giving them guns. Therefore, I feel as if by giving Colt Gray a gun, a rifle, his father was doing something that is common in American society by a specific group of Americans. But then the question is, will the authorities, will the government go after parents who are giving guns to their minors, to their little kids, their children? Or will the government, the authorities, wait until another shooting happens, then go after those parents? Because it seems that there is no balance in the way the law is being practiced in this manner. The man did what people are doing. Of course, then it is said that he gave his son a gun when he knew that the kid is going through some emotional issue. So in this case, the parent is wrong. But my only thing is, I do see going after the father to be somewhat suspicious. It appears to me, it seems to me that the authorities are doing this out of shame. That we have a situation or situations in the United States where gun violence is just going rampant in the United States. It is a national shame. It is a state or locality shame. So we have to do something to blame the parent in this case. It doesn't seem as if it is just justice that is being served. It is a policy, an activity, an action that is being carried out as a result of shame, a national shame, a state shame. A shooting that is happening in a school. This also begs the question, how can America, how can the United States better protect its schools? There are those who are calling for teachers to have guns, which I do feel it is a terrible decision. Having teachers to have access to gun in the building, it is a bad thing. It is not going to be safe or healthy for the teachers and the students, the admin, or everybody. It is not going to be safe, healthy for the districts and even for the government. There are those who are calling for there to be security personnel in every schools with guns, ex-military personnel with guns. It does make sense, but that is also a terrible situation. Because if we're going to have former soldiers just patrolling schools with guns, basically playing the roles of security, what country are Americans living in? What does that say about the current state of American society? So Americans will have to think this thoroughly. We'll have to have a frank discussion on the situation that is happening throughout the country and try to frankly, honestly, fairly solving the problem of gun violence in America. And in this case, in public spaces such as schools, because the children and the teachers and staff members must be protected and they must be teaching and learning peacefully. Now, my friends, I'm going to end here. I want to hear what you think, and please tell me what you think. But most importantly, friends, I want to thank you for being a member of the Echoing Voice community. And also, I want to thank you a lot for watching the Echoing Voice. Peace.